Welcome back to Chow Time Pod. It's your host, Red. The video today from She Said. Single female homeowners are in debt and why single men don't buy homes. I'm one of them. Please extra them below. I really appreciate that. That's good at Chow. It's Chow time.
I'm just here to say that being a homeowner as a single woman is not what's up. Currently dealing with a situation in the backyard. That is a whole puddle right there. My pool is just covering it so the dogs will stay out of it. However, a dog still gets into it. I don't know what to do. I'm not responsible enough. And that's why having a husband would be really nice because that's...
She admitted she's not responsible enough, at least.
So I read an article today that said the majority of home buyers these days are single women. First things first, women, kudos on that. Very, very proud of you guys. Men, we have to catch.
City girls are up 1,000 points on this one. We did a big one, and he is 100% right. Single woman here. Hey, y'all. Hey, I am a mortgage loan officer, and I have purchased not only one, but 2 homes in my lifetime, both times as a single woman. I have 1 child. I have never been married. And I did not have a co-applicant. That was a boyfriend.
So, number one, ladies, this is why they continue to drain y'all of y'all pockets and continue to put y'all into insurmountable debt, because they cater to y'all's ego and get y'all to go out there and spend y'all money in the name of we don't need a man. But number one, I want to know which one is it. Where y'all getting this money from? Either because all I see is people complain about how they can't buy a house, and now all of a sudden,
Dude, we cover a whole bunch of stories of people can't even afford rent. How are these women able to afford a house?
Women out here just doing the thing and buying up all the houses. Which one is it? Because they just did a survey and the average American doesn't even have $1,000 saved up, but somehow all these women got money to buy houses. I'm just trying to figure out which one is it. Not to mention she's a loan officer, so that's a conflict of interest on her being on TikTok and selling y'all shit anyway. Clearly, she trying to get some more applicants. But I'm just trying to figure out which one is it. Do y'all got this money or y'all broke? Can y'all get a house or y'all stuck paying rent? Oh, she explains how.
House, or that $400,000 house. They are so prepared for home ownership. I don't know if men feel intimidated. I don't know what it is, but not only are they getting to it, they're getting to the bag by having not just 1, but 2 full-time jobs.
Oh.
Now, another conversation for another day, or we could talk about it right now. Why are women having to work 2 full-time jobs? Like, where are the men in the equation?
Well, they work them because they want to, right?
Right.
And there's no men in the equation because they
don't
don't
need
want
no
them.
man.
And there they go with the intimidation tactic, like trying to scare men or shame men into accepting just that they tend to be terrible people. Most men don't buy a house
My young man.
simply because most men only get a house is when they have a family.
Correct.
Period, point blank. If there's no...
Okay, so I am looking for a place. I actually messaged the place, and they said, oh, you make significant income. Why don't you buy a house? I straight up told them I'd rather spend my money and income, my disposable income, on a business or businesses that can generate me income and not a house that I sit on, that I don't make anything off of, that I'm putting money into constantly until I actually sell the house. And I don't have a family. There's no reason for me to start building into a house when I don't have a family and I'm not close to having a family yet.
Family, there's no need for a man to have a house. We don't need that shit. So if I don't have a family, I'm not going to buy a house. Women now think buying a house is a status symbol.
Yep.
It's like, just like degrees, just like with everything else.
That's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. And he's going into the degrees aspect.
No, he's right, because being able to own a home over a man puts you onto top echelon of boss babe.
Of it, right? It's to look like. Same reason why they'll overlook men in trades, because even though he'll make more money, it doesn't look like. Crazy shit.
You're checking the box, and half of them buy houses without doing the proper research, and then a year later complain because their mortgage went up and they got problems in their house that they can't afford to pay for. You see it on TikTok all the time.
Right.
Oh, the story time of how I regret buying a house. Home ownership isn't what I thought it was going to be. We see it all the time from these very same women.
Right.
They look at buying a house as a thing. That's it. something that they can brag to everybody about. Say, yeah, girl, I did that. Just another thing to say, yeah, I got a master's degree. I'm a homeowner. It's just another title to add to their list of things to put in front of the face of people that ask, well, why don't you have a man? Why aren't you married? Well, because they intimidated because I got a degree and I'm a homeowner and I'm a boss. And meanwhile, you just don't know how to be with a man. 9 times out of 10, that's all you are those physical things and those titles. Nothing outside. If you got to work 2 full-time jobs in order to pay for a mortgage, you shouldn't be getting that mortgage.
Correct.
People like her aren't going to tell you
that. Means you're barely scaving by paying that mortgage. That's a problem.
Because at the end of the day, they trying to sell you something.
Right.
Yeah, it's the reason why women, especially black women, hold the most insurmountable debt. Not debt, but insurmountable debt, which is debt you cannot afford to pay for. Because people like her and the dude before are going to cater on y'all egos and force y'all into predatory type lending and situations. See it all the time.
This man said we need to catch up. It makes sense to people that don't interact in the real world. But the real answer to this is most men only get houses to start a family.
Yep.
Like if you look at every and any couple, the man get a house for his family. The man gets...
I know a lot of playboys. They don't own houses. They rent very extravagant apartments / homes or whatever, but they rather rent because there's no need for them to ever own a home. They make very good money and they don't care.
It's the house because his woman told him, it's time to get a house. And I think most people get houses without realizing the responsibility that comes with owning a house. At my apartment, if something wrong with my air or my heat, I can call my property manager.
Yep.
If there is something wrong with your air, your heat in your house, you got to pay for that. I don't want that right now. You got to pay for that. And Lord, let's hope it ain't nothing dramatic.
I told you guys, my best friend, partner in business, bought a house recently. It is 100 years old house. It was literally built in like 1910. He paid $1.2 million for that shit. That is crazy. He makes good money. Not saying like he could afford it. Him and his fiance make almost like $500,000 total. But still, $1.5 million or $1.2 million for 100 years old house that really did not get updated throughout the 100 years at all. Fucking crazy.
Or extravagant because that shit gonna run you a new AC unit.
That's
heater,
fucking
all that shit together
$15,000.
can be between like 3 to 15 stacks. Like there is more to owning a house than to just say you got a house, because like that shit costs a lot of money. And as a single man, there's like really, to be honest, like no rush to want to get a house.
Yep.
I really
and no judgment on you guys. I know a lot of you guys own homes already, and you're fucking good on you guys. And some of you guys paid off your homes. You guys can afford it, and you guys are not doing it for some status symbol.
Would tell me to wait until I'm married to buy a house just because I'm a single woman. Sir, the math is not mathing. I do not subscribe to that perspective. Remove me from your subscriber list. If you are a single woman and you are thinking about buying a home, never let anybody, man or woman, tell you otherwise. If you are ready to buy that house, sis. Buy that house. The home buying journey, if you're going at it solo, it can feel overwhelming. Not gonna lie to you. I've been there, done that. If you're looking for a community of like-minded women who want...
there we go. Looking for a community. That's exactly, all that is exactly what I'd expect a chick with the TikTok handle, the ATL concierge realtor, to say to a lot of these chicks. They're all real estate
buying
agents,
houses.
right? Of course, they're giving them free promotion. You're welcome.
My house is the worst mistake I've ever made, and it made me realize that homeownership is a scam and the American dream is dead. I never really cared about...
I wouldn't say it's completely a scam. It makes more sense to start a family with a home than to live as a single person and buying a home.
Owning property throughout most of my 20s. Something happened when I hit 27 and I just started feeling an obscene amount of shame for still renting. And that continued to multiply into my 30s until eventually...
I'm 37. Shame me all you want. $700 rents, bitches.
I just said, okay. So last year I bought a house that all of the calculations...
By yourself.
Later said that I could afford. I went to look at a bunch of properties. I crunched the numbers. Now here I'm sitting, not even a full 12 months after I closed, talking to a realtor about putting the house on the market because owning property feels so limiting. There are so many experiences that I want to have. There's so much that I value that I want to throw myself into wholeheartedly,
Right.
that having a piece of property prevents. I will probably lose money since it's been such a short amount of time. Now there's a whole new type of guilt that I'm dealing with because I feel I made a really
Inadequate.
bad decision when I decided to buy this house.
Yep.
I know that there are a lot of people out there for which buying property is a goal. It makes me feel really silly that I did this when it wasn't an authentic goal of mine.
That's the best way to sell people things, when they have a dream for it and they don't know how to achieve that particular dream, and you can get them what they want. They'll fall for it very, very easily.
To me, in this moment, feels more expensive to spend another 2 to 5 years of my time staying here, hoping that I will get a financial return, than it does to just cut my losses and go live my life, or rather go build a life that I want to be living. Because this
sounds like she might have to go look for a man.
Mm-hmm.
This is not it. This is not accomplishment. This is not success. This isn't a life. Homeownership is a scam, and it is not the end goal that millennials seem to think that it is.
I agree.
Transparency post.
I've said that all the time. I get pushback from you guys sometimes saying, oh, it's a great investment. Yeah, maybe back in the day. Now, as I'm talking about, like, of 2024 currently, right now, with interest rates the way they are, house prices the way they are, it's just not feasible for, I want to say, like 90% of people, just because prices are ridiculous.
Post. I regret buying a house. I regret it a lot. If I could go back to January 2022, I would tell that girl, do not. Just find another apartment to move into, because doing all this shit that I have to do for this house and all the unexpected costs, high dollar unexpected costs that I keep running into, to be handling it by myself.
By yourself.
Again, unless you're getting a 2016, 2020 built house, you might have to deal with a lot of these things. Most houses are not that new. Most houses are literally 80 to 60 to 100 years old, so they're going to need some work.
That's what I
It's
thought.
ass. So to all you young women who want to go out and buy a home, I encourage you to really, really think about it. Talk to some people and really see the ins and outs. I mean, it always sounds good. Oh yeah, your mortgage is only going to be $1,000 until they reevaluate your property taxes. And that
You keep on hearing that reevaluation of property taxes. Sounds like, people need to make sure they're reading the fine prints.
Yeah.
goes up $200.
Okay.
Yep.
$1,200 ain't bad.
It's trash. 85 degrees, your AC is going to go out. You don't want to know how much that costs.
Oh, yeah, I know how much that
It's trash.
Okay.
We just replaced the AC in this house. That was $15,000.
Yeah, I think this is TikTok worthy. I don't post and I don't really got content, but I changed my blade. This is day 3 of me doing yard work. Now I have to go into my neighbor's yard because all his trees is, I don't have trees in my yard, but they're coming over. But yeah, I have to show y'all the yard. It's insane.
God bless this woman. It says life as a single woman homeowner.
I'm gonna have to change the camera.
Time to be strong.
So that's my house right there.
Time to be independent.
It's definitely overgrown.
So how do I cut all this stuff down to not come into my garden?
At that point, lady, I would just call someone. That's a lot of work.
It's the goal. But the thing is, I don't even know if I can get over. This is a big tree.
You got it.
Strong and independent.
Yeah, I did some of it.
Okay, look. Hey,
Take with some of it. No, I think my battery dying because I've been doing it for 3 days.
it's pretty good.
All right, y'all. So now,
Change
my
shirts.
yard.
Must have been a sweaty situation.
But you can see through it now because I've been putting in that work. Look at that.
Oh, not bad. Yeah, slowly,
All this
progress.
Rubbish. So yeah, we'll see what happens next.
I'm just here to say that being a homeowner as a single woman is not what's up.
Nope.
I've been a homeowner for just over a year, and I'm trying to get some repairs done for my year warranty or whatever.
Right.
Currently dealing with a situation in the backyard that is a whole puddle right there. My pool is just covering it so the dogs will stay out of it. However, a dog still gets into it. I had a plumber over here today because I thought that it was from like the septic or something because it smelled weird. But come to find out, it's actually a sprinkler issue from my neighbors. Apparently their water isn't draining right, and they sprinkle their grass way too much. So essentially what's happening is a trench or a swamp in between our houses. And then it just runs down the side of our fence,
Right.
which it is starting to rot the fence, and creates a puddle in my back corner. I don't know what to do. I'm not responsible enough. And that's why having a husband would be really nice because that's
She said it.
Ha!
She said it.
It'll make you feel better.
Listen, I'm happy to hear that.
I'm saying.
I'm happy she's actually admitting it. Most of them just won't say it. Most of them won't say the actual thing. That's why having a husband would get a husband. Humble yourself. And listen, I'm not saying go find anybody, right?
Find a good man.
Just be realistic. Drop all the delusional standards. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
the only solution that I can find because men should be good at this, right?
Only solution she can find.
Buying a house has probably been the worst decision of my life. So I'm 26 years old, work full time, have my career, been to grad school. And so naturally buying a house was kind of the next step in life, right? Like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to buy a home, invest in real estate, build equity, because it's going to set you up. That's a smart financial move, right?
That's what they tell you, yeah.
Of course, social media makes it seem all like rainbows and butterflies. You can invest in a fixer-upper, renovate your home,
right?
Build equity and flip it for a profit. And it's all great. And it's the best financial decision you can make, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my case, it's just become a nightmare. The house is a total money pit. I have spent tens of thousands of dollars more than I could have ever anticipated. I'm living in the middle of renovations. Half my house doesn't really even have a floor or a working subfloor. The other half doesn't really have walls. And that's how I'm living right now. Because I've blown through my budget on things that were necessary, but weren't caught during an inspection. And so I'm stuck. So I figured I'm stuck here. I got to make the most of it. And why not share this experience? So hopefully someone else can learn from my mistakes. So follow along if you want to see the worst parts of homeownership.
It's getting sad.
It is.
It's getting sad.
I was 29 years old when I first purchased my house in LA County in California. And man, I tell you, owning a home is literally a scam. In America is that you never actually own your house. You never actually own your house.
Yes, that's what property tax is. Property tax makes it so that you will never, ever own your home because you always have to pay for it. And if you don't pay your property tax, guess what? Government gets to take it.
I'm telling you, because on top of everything, you have to pay like over $10,000 a year just on property taxes. And when you don't, guess who's going to be at your door? Mr. Uncle Sam himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And these are types of things that I was never aware about because, I mean, I was young when I first bought my house, so I didn't know better. But there's just so
Wait, you didn't know about property tax? The fuck? I thought everybody kind of knows about that.
much added up. The maintenance, I tell you, that is a lot of work to do. So if you're buying a house, it's not just like paying off your house. There's other expenses involved. Having a tenant doesn't guarantee that your mortgage is always going to be paid, because imagine,
especially in California, where tenant rights are just insane.
Your tenant loses their job. Who's going to pay their rent? The mortgage, I mean. It's going to be you. It's going to come out of your freaking pocket. And you can't always rely on other people to pay your mortgage for you. At least in the state of California. I don't know anywhere else. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but in California, the tenants have rights. And the burden of responsibility falls on the homeowner. So there's that. Also, fire department just showed up at my house yesterday, and they were like, hey, it's going to be fire season. You have to cut off all your trees, do all your yard work. And I'm like, dude, is the state going to pay for that? Because I have to find someone and pay thousands of dollars for this now.
Yep.
And it's like, it never ends. There's always money after money after money. And if shit screws up, the burden of responsibility falls on you as the homeowner. So there's that.
That's why I love renting here. My roommate put in a EV charger because he has a Tesla, and I got my EV, so I get the charger at home. Any issues I have with the toilet or anything, I just tell him. He fixes it. He pays someone to come fix it. I haven't paid for any repairs, nor do I have to. I have paid for like a maid service to come help clean up the house a little bit here and there, but other than that, yeah, my roommate, my friend that owns the home, he takes care of everything because, yes, he is the homeowner.
I mean, I would buy a house if there's multi-income, if you're going to be a multi-income household.
Oh,
and
so
you guys,
if you have a husband, gotcha.
all the people involved have stable jobs, then yes.
Ooh.
But man, if you're single,
Doesn't want to say husband.
No, she doesn't really want to say it
and you're buying a house, I would definitely reconsider that. So yeah, just be mindful.
All right.
Didn't want to say the husband.
In many ways, a lot of this is kind of sad. You know, there's a real financial problems. There's some things in life that are easier when done with someone else. And definitely purchasing a home, I believe, and building a home. You're going to have kids, you're having a family. You want to make sure you have two people in that household helping support you financially. I believe home ownership is just one of those things. Now, of course, at the end of the day, doesn't matter what I think, right? I don't care what you do. However, I do think there are more people who don't really understand the gravity of the situation when they're approaching home ownership. Exhibit A, B, C, D, E, F, G, every chick that you've seen here. But there were men who responded back to all this, and this is what they had to say. All right, listen, as always, I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Leave your comments down below.
I admit there are some advantages of being a homeowner, especially if you bought it before the pandemic. But after pandemic and after interest rates now, if you're looking to buy a home now, it just might not be the best thing. Even before then, it's just people don't make that kind of money and they don't expect those little expenses to come up. Please subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Catch you guys next time. Ciao.